Do you ever notice that when a man suffers, the world looks away? When a man breaks, the world laughs. No one feels sorry for you. No one is coming to save you. And yet, the moment you rise, the moment you refuse to collapse, everyone suddenly expects you to carry them too. This is the brutal truth about being a man. The world demands your strength, but denies your pain. And if you think that's unfair, you're right. But it's also your greatest weapon. Because once you stop waiting for pity, once you stop begging for fairness, you unlock the only power that matters, becoming unbreakable. In this video, I'll show you exactly how men throughout history, from emperors to fighters to fathers, turned betrayal, rejection, and silence into the fire that made them unstoppable. So don't click away. Watch until the end, because this might be the one message that changes how you see yourself, how you fight forever. When was the last time you saw a man cry? Not in the shadows of a movie theater, not in the safety of his car when no one was watching, but in public, in front of his friends, in front of his family. When was the last time you saw a man break open and show the world what he carries inside? You probably can't remember. And if you do, chances are the memory feels uncomfortable. Because here is the truth. The world does not know what to do with a man's pain. A woman's tears are often met with comfort. A child's cries are met with concern. But a man's silence is expected, and his breakdown is treated like a failure. This is the weight men carry, the silent command carved into their flesh. Since birth, be strong, be resilient, do not complain, do not bend. It begins early. A little boy falls down, he scrapes his knee. He feels the burn of blood, the sting of fear. He wants to cry. But what does the world say? Stand up, be a man, stop crying, toughen up. That little boy learns fast, his pain is not allowed to exist. His softness is unwelcome. His tears are weapons others can use against him, so he swallows them. Fast forward 20 years. That boy is now a man. A worker, a husband, a father, a provider. He carries expectations stacked on his shoulders like concrete slabs. Pay the bills, protect the family, never show weakness. Endure every insult. Stand tall, even if you are breaking inside. And what happens when he feels crushed? He cannot run to his friends and cry. He cannot tell his co-workers he feels lost. He cannot admit to his partner that he feels like he is drowning, because he knows the risk. The risk of being rejected. The risk of being mocked. The risk of losing respect. So he does what men have been taught for centuries. He locks it inside. He walks into the office with a smile. He plays with his children as if nothing is wrong. He posts pictures on social media that look like victory, while inside he feels like rubble. This is the hidden weight of men, the burden carried in silence, disguised as strength. Look around. Think about the men you know, your father, your brother, your colleague, your friend. How many of them are silently fighting battles you will never hear about? How many of them laugh in public, but collapse in private? Here's the thing. Society has drawn an image of what a man should be: unshakable, unbreakable, untouchable. And every man who cannot live up to that image feels the crushing shame of failure. Consider the workplace. A man loses his job. What happens? His family may pity him for a moment, but soon the whispers start. He is not providing. He is not useful. He has failed. The respect evaporates, and the man, he suffers in silence. He cannot tell anyone how terrified he feels. Because the moment he does, the mask slips. And once it slips, it is almost impossible to put back on. Or consider relationships. A man opens up, admits his vulnerability, confesses his insecurities. Sometimes, the very person he trusts weaponizes those words against him later. Why can't you be stronger? Stop being so sensitive. The knife cuts deeper than silence ever could. Now think about history. Powerful men, kings, emperors, industrialists, leaders, they too carried this hidden weight. Do you think Alexander the Great never doubted himself? Do you think Napoleon never felt fear? Do you think Churchill, standing against the Nazi war machine, never felt despair in the dark hours of the night? Of course they did. But they knew this. The world was not waiting to console them. The world was waiting to see if they would break. And breaking meant destruction not only for themselves, but for everyone who depended on them. This is not new. It has always been this way. What is new is that modern men are expected to be everything at once. Strong providers, emotional partners, perfect fathers, tireless workers, silent warriors, all without complaint. And if they fall short in any one area, the world is quick to judge, quick to shame. Have you noticed? When a man succeeds, the world says, that's his job. When a man fails, the world says, he wasn't man enough. Success is invisible. Failure is permanent. This is the paradox men live in. They are told to be strong, but their strength is invisible unless it cracks. They are told to be uncomplaining, but their silence is mistaken for emptiness. They are told to carry the burden, but never to show its weight. And here is the tragedy. Because of this, millions of men suffer alone. They drown quietly. They drink too much. They bury themselves in work. They disappear into their phones. They escape into games, addictions, distractions. All because they cannot speak their truth without risking humiliation. Now let me ask you this. How many men do you think have died not from war, not from disease, but from silence? How many men have taken their own lives because the weight became unbearable and no one ever knew? Statistics show it clearly. Men are far more likely to end their lives. Why? Because they are trained never to reach out. Because they believe they must carry it all alone. Because the world refuses to see their pain. Imagine a man on a battlefield. Arrows fly, swords clash, the ground shakes with thunder. He is bleeding. His body is breaking. But he refuses to fall because the men behind him depend on him. He fights until he collapses. That is how men are expected to live in everyday life, not just on the battlefield, but in the office, in the home, in the soul. That image is powerful, but it is also destructive. Because here is the truth. Even the strongest warrior cannot fight forever without rest. Even the sharpest sword grows dull if never sharpened. Even the tallest mountain crumbles under centuries of erosion. And yet men are expected to carry on endlessly, to never falter, to never reveal. This is not resilience. This is slow death. The hidden weight of men is not just in their personal lives. Look at the workplace. A man works 60 hours a week. He skips time with his family. He sacrifices his health. He never says no because he believes his worth is measured by what he produces. He pushes until his heart gives out. And then the company replaces him within weeks. The world barely remembers his name. Or look at family dynamics. A father works 2 jobs to feed his children. He hides his exhaustion. He never buys anything for himself. He sacrifices every dream he had as a young man. And when he finally snaps, when he finally loses his temper after years of silence, he is labeled as cruel, angry, unloving. No one saw the decades of weight he carried. They only saw the crack. This is the cruel reality. The world is not designed to feel sorry for men, and men, knowing this, stop feeling sorry for themselves. They carry on, they endure, but deep inside, a storm brews. Let's be honest. There is a reason so many men are bitter, numb, or lost. There is a reason anger explodes where silence once lived. Because the weight has no outlet. And a burden without release becomes poison. Now, why am I telling you this? Because before we can talk about transformation, before we can speak of power, we must first acknowledge the reality. The hidden weight of men is real. It is crushing. It is everywhere. And it is not going away just because we pretend it does not exist. Think about your own life. How many times have you swallowed words because you feared rejection? How many times have you smiled when you wanted to scream? How many times have you carried the burden alone because you knew no one else would carry it with you? That is the cost of being a man in this world. And the first step is to face it. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. The world does not care if you suffer. The world does not care if you break. The world is not waiting to rescue you. And once you realize this, it stings. It feels unfair. It feels like betrayal. Because deep down, every man secretly hopes that when he reaches his breaking point, someone will notice. Someone will reach out. Someone will say, "I see you. I understand. Let me help." But that call rarely comes. And when it does, it often comes too late. Here is the brutal revelation. You are not allowed to be weak. Not as a man. Not in this world. Weakness is invisible until it is mocked. Strength is demanded, but never taught. Think about it. A child is trained. A woman is supported, but a man is expected to just know. Know how to lead. Know how to provide. Know how to fight. Know how to suffer in silence. But who teaches him? Who shows him how? No one. He is thrown into the fire and told to figure it out. This is the tragedy of men's lives. You are born into a world that holds you responsible for everything, but forgives you for nothing. Lose your job? You are useless. Struggle financially. You are incompetent. Fail in relationships. You are unworthy. Show emotion. You are weak. Stay silent. You are cold. Do you see the trap? It does not matter which way you turn. The judgment is waiting. Here's the thing. Most men think if they play by the rules, they will be respected. Work hard. Stay loyal. Protect your family. Provide. Sacrifice. But here is the revelation. They respect you only as long as you keep performing. The moment you stumble, the respect vanishes. And this is not just theory. Look around. A man gives 20 years of his life to a company. He builds it, sacrifices his weekends, misses his children's birthdays, pours his health into its success. Then one quarter, the profits dip, and he is let go without hesitation. His loyalty means nothing. His sacrifice means nothing. He is just a number in a spreadsheet. Or take relationships. A man provides stability, security, commitment. He builds a life. But the moment he shows doubt or despair, he is questioned. The moment he reveals his insecurities, the foundation shakes. Because deep down, even those closest to him have absorbed the same unspoken rule. A man must never falter. This is why so many men keep their struggles secret, because they know that the sympathy they crave does not exist. And if it does, it is fleeting. Today they pity you. Tomorrow they despise you. Think about the Roman gladiators. The crowd roared when they fought. They admired their strength, their skill, their endurance. But the moment a gladiator stumbled, the crowd cheered for his death. That is the brutal reality men face in the modern arena. As long as you fight and bleed silently, they clap. The moment you fall, they boo. Now let us go deeper. History is filled with examples. Richard Nixon won re-election by a landslide. The nation once admired his cunning, his foreign policy, his leadership. But when Watergate broke, no one remembered his victories. They remembered only his failure. His legacy was crushed by a single crack in the armor. Or take the industrialist Henry Ford. He built the car that changed the world. He revolutionized manufacturing. But when his empire stumbled, the same newspapers that once praised him turned against him. Success erased nothing. One mistake, and the world wanted blood. This is the law of power. You are remembered not for the decades you carried the weight, but for the moment you dropped it. And the revelation cuts even deeper. Nature itself is brutal. Look at the wild. A lion grows old, weak, slower with each hunt. Does the jungle pity him? No. The hyenas laugh. The vultures circle. The same animals that once feared him now tear him apart. That is nature's law. That is life's law. So what does this mean for men? It means you cannot expect fairness. It means you cannot wait for pity. It means you must understand. Strength is not optional. It is survival. This is the truth most men never hear. They are told to be kind, to be open, to be soft. And yes, kindness has value. But in a world that is ruthless, kindness without strength is suicide. A soft man who cannot defend himself is not loved. He is tolerated until he is no longer useful. Do you see why so many men feel betrayed? Society whispers, be vulnerable, share your feelings, open up. But the moment you do, they lose respect for you. They see you differently. They cannot unsee it. So you are trapped. Trapped between the illusion of acceptance and the reality of judgment. And here is where most men break. They think they can win sympathy. They think if they sacrifice enough, work hard enough, please enough people, someone will finally care. But the brutal revelation is this. You are expected to give without thanks, to sacrifice without recognition, to carry the weight without applause. Now, you might ask if this is true. If the world is this cruel, then what hope do men have? Here is the answer. The hope does not come from pity. It does not come from waiting for others to care. It comes from understanding the game. Once you know the world will not feel sorry for you, you stop waiting. Once you know the crowd cheers only while you are strong, you stop performing for them. Once you know weakness will be punished, you learn to make strength your only language. This is the revelation that transforms everything. The pain you feel is not proof that you are broken. The silence you endure is not proof that you are worthless. It is proof that the world demands strength from you, whether you like it or not. And here is the paradox. When you stop expecting fairness, you become free. When you stop waiting for pity, you become powerful. When you stop trying to prove your worth to others, you finally start building it for yourself. Think about the great men of history. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote his meditations not to impress the world, but to strengthen his own soul. He knew the empire would not carry his burdens. He had to carry them himself. Abraham Lincoln faced humiliation after humiliation, failed businesses, political defeats, nervous breakdowns, but he stopped waiting for the world to feel sorry for him. He turned every failure into fuel. And when the time came, he stood strong enough to carry a divided nation. The revelation is harsh, but liberating. The world does not care if you suffer. So stop suffering for the world. Stop begging for recognition. Stop waiting for applause. Your strength is yours to forge. Your resilience is yours to build. Your place in this world is not given. It is taken. This is the brutal revelation. You are on your own. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can rise above it. Every man reaches a breaking point. Some collapse. Some vanish, but a rare few, they burn that pain into fuel. The difference between the forgotten and the unforgettable is not the absence of suffering. It is the decision to transform it. Think of the blacksmith. He takes raw iron, useless in its natural state, and throws it into the fire. The heat is unbearable. The metal glows red, then white. Hammer after hammer strikes it again and again, shaping it, hardening it. What comes out of the fire is no longer fragile, or it is a sword, deadly, resilient, unbreakable. This is the choice every man faces. Will you collapse under the fire, or will you let it forge you? History is filled with men who reach this point. Julius Caesar, betrayed by allies, hunted by enemies, driven into hiding. He could have stayed in the shadows, another forgotten noble. But he turned betrayal into fire. He marched back, built legions, and carved his name into eternity. Or think of Nelson Mandela. 27 years in prison, beaten, forgotten, stripped of freedom. Most men would have come out broken, bitter, hollow. But Mandela turned prison into a forge. He walked out, not as a shattered man, but as a leader strong enough to guide a divided nation. Look closer to our time. Steve Jobs fired from the very company he built. Humiliated. Cast aside. That moment could have destroyed him. Instead, it became the turning point. He rebuilt, innovated, and when the world counted him out, he returned with vengeance and changed technology forever. What do all these men have in common? They understood the brutal revelation that pity will not come, that fairness does not exist. And instead of collapsing, they embraced the fire. Now let us make it personal. You know a man in your own life who reached this turning point. Maybe it was your father. Maybe it was a friend. A man who lost everything, but instead of staying down, he clawed his way back. Perhaps he was humiliated at work, laid off after years of loyalty. He spent nights in silence, his pride in pieces. But instead of giving up, he started again, a small business, a side hustle, a skill no one could take away. And little by little, he rebuilt. The world still did not pity him, but he no longer needed it. This is the transformation men are called to make. To stop begging for lighter burdens and to grow stronger shoulders. Here is the thing. Life will test you. It will strip you. It will betray you. But what it is really doing is asking you a question. Will you let this kill you? Or will you let this crown you? Take the samurai. He lived by Bushido, the way of the warrior. Death was not his fear. Weakness was. Every hardship, every battle, every humiliation was a chance to sharpen his spirit. The samurai believed, fall 7 times, stand up 8. That is not poetry, that is survival. Or look at Winston Churchill. Before he became the bulldog of Britain, he was dismissed as a failure. His career seemed over. His voice mocked. His leadership questioned. But when the war came, when bombs rained from the sky, when the people needed a lion, Churchill's failures became fuel. His words became fire. He stood where others broke. And here is the truth. Your turning point will not look like theirs. It may not come with armies or prisons or corporate battles. It may come quietly, in a divorce paper left on the table, in a layoff email that erases decades of work, in a doctor's diagnosis that shatters your plans, or in the silence of a lonely night when you realize no one is coming to save you. That is the moment. That is the forge. That is the fire asking you, what now? Will you drink yourself into numbness? Will you bury yourself in distraction? Or will you use this betrayal as your weapon? The great men did not rise in spite of their suffering. They rose because of it. Their enemies became their teachers. Their failures became their fuel. Their silence became their strength. So let me ask you, what betrayal are you carrying? What humiliation still haunts you? What silence is choking you? Stop pretending it is not there. Face it. Name it. Own it. Because once you own it, it loses its power to destroy you. Every man who turned his life around began with this. He stopped hiding from the wound and started building from it. This is not about comfort. This is about conquest. Comfort is the drug that keeps men weak. Conquest is the fire that makes them strong. The turning point is not when life gets easier. It is when you decide to stop being the victim and start being the weapon. Think of the mountain climber. The air thins. The path grows dangerous. His muscles scream. His lungs burn. He knows one slip could kill him. But he climbs anyway. Because the summit is not given, it is taken. And when he reaches it, the suffering becomes the proof of his strength. This is how men must live, not asking for the burden to vanish, but using the burden as proof of their becoming. The world will not feel sorry for you, so stop waiting. The world will not applaud your survival, so stop begging. Instead, carve your strength in silence. Build your fire in private. And when the moment comes, unleash it so fiercely the world cannot look away. Because here is the secret. Men who embrace the turning point stop being replaceable. They stop being forgotten. They stop being victims. They become forces of nature. And a force of nature does not ask for pity. It does not beg for respect. It commands it. This is the path forward. This is the pivot every man must make. Not away from pain, but through it. Not away from fire, but into it. The weight will always be there. The world will always demand. But you can choose to break or to burn into something unbreakable. The choice is yours. The turning point is now. Up until now, we have exposed the truth. The weight is real. The world is brutal. The fire is waiting. But truth alone is not enough. A man can know the world does not care, yet still drown in bitterness. He can recognize the fire, yet still refuse to step in. Knowledge without action is poison. So the question becomes, how does a man transform? How does he rise from silence into strength, from victim into force? The answer is simple, but not easy. He builds, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. Here's the first principle. Control what you can, release what you cannot. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote to himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." He understood this. Armies, politics, fate, those were storms he could not stop. But his thoughts, his discipline, his decisions, that was his fortress. And that is where transformation begins. You cannot force the world to pity you. You cannot make society change its judgment overnight. But you can build a mind so sharp, a body so strong, a spirit so steady, that the storms break against you instead of through you. Think about it like this. Every man is a ship. The sea will rage, the winds will howl, the storms will come. But if your hull is strong, if your sails are steady, if your anchor is deep, you will not sink. So start with the body, because the body is the foundation of the mind. Too many men crumble simply because their bodies are weak. You cannot think like a warrior if you move like a corpse. This does not mean you need to be a bodybuilder or an athlete. It means you need to train discipline through the flesh. Lift weights, run, practice martial arts. Push your body where it resists. Not because society demands it, but because every rep, every mile, every drop of sweat
teaches your mind. I do not quit. Muhammad Ali said it best. I hated every minute of training. But I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. The training was not about muscles. It was about mastery. Now, the mind. Your mind is your battlefield. Every insult, every betrayal, every disappointment begins here. And if your mind is untrained, you lose before you even step outside. So how do you train it? First, master your self-talk. Most men lose, not because of others, but because of their own voices, whispering failure inside their skulls. You know that voice. You can't do this. You're not enough. You'll fail again. That voice is the enemy. The Stoics had a weapon against it. Journaling. Every night, write down your struggles, your failures, your victories. Tear the poison out of your head and trap it on paper. When you see it written, you realize it is not truth, it is just thought. And thoughts can be challenged. Second, practice stillness. We live in noise. Phones, screens, endless chatter. A man who cannot sit in silence is a slave to distraction. So sit daily, even for 10 minutes. Breathe, watch your thoughts, let them pass. This is how you sharpen the blade of focus. Third, embrace discomfort. Comfort is the cage that kills modern men. A warm bed, a soft couch, endless entertainment. It feels safe, but it rots the will. Transformation demands you step into cold showers, difficult conversations, brutal honesty. Discomfort is the gym where resilience is built. And finally, the spirit. This is not about religion. This is about purpose. A man without purpose is a ship without a compass. He drifts. He crashes. Purpose does not have to be grand. It does not have to be world-changing. It can be as simple as this. I will become the strongest version of myself, so my children never see me broken. I will master my craft, so no one can strip me of my dignity. I will walk through fire so the men around me remember they can too. This purpose is not given. It is chosen. And once chosen, it becomes fuel. Now let us bring in the psychology. Modern research shows what warriors already knew. Men who adopt responsibility, who choose burdens instead of fleeing from them, become stronger, more resilient, more respected. Why? Because the human brain is wired for challenge. Without challenge, it decays. With challenge, it grows. Think of Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor. He endured camps, starvation, loss. He watched men collapse around him. Why did he survive? He wrote it himself. Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. His why kept him alive when others gave up. That is transformation. Not denying the burden, not escaping it, but choosing to carry it with purpose. Here is the process, step by step. Step 1. Face the truth. Stop pretending the world is fair. Stop waiting for pity. Accept the brutality. Step 2. Strengthen the body. Sweat daily. Teach your flesh discipline. Step 3. Fortify the mind. Journal. Sit in silence. Reject the poison voice. Step 4. Embrace discomfort. Seek the cold, the hard, the painful. Make it your ally. Step 5. Anchor in purpose. Choose a why so powerful it drags you through the fire. Do this, and you transform. Not into someone the world feels sorry for, but into someone the world cannot ignore. And here's the beauty. When you transform yourself, you transform others. Your son sees your discipline and learns. Your brother watches your resilience and finds courage. Your friend sees you stand tall and remembers he can too. You become the lighthouse. You become the fire. Do not underestimate this. The transformation of one man can ignite the transformation of many. That is how armies are built. That is how nations are saved. That is how legacies are born. And let me say this clearly. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is daily. It is endless. It is war. The moment you stop, the rot begins. So you do not transform. Once you transform again and again, every day you wake, every challenge you face. This is why weakness fades when a man embraces the path. Because the process never ends. Because every day becomes a forge. The world will not feel sorry for you. Good. Stop asking it to. The world will not carry your burden. Good. Carry it yourself and grow stronger. The world will not hand you a throne. Good. Build one with your bare hands. This is the transformation. From silence to power. From victim to weapon. From forgotten man to force of nature. So, now you know. The weight is real. The world is brutal. The fire is waiting. And here is the truth. Most men will hear this and do nothing. They will nod. They will agree. Then they will go back to distraction, to silence, to slow decay. But not you. Not if you are still here. Not if you have felt the sting in your chest as these words cut. This is your call to action. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because here is the thing. Time is the only wealth you cannot earn back. Every day you wait, you are weaker. Every day you wait, the burden grows heavier. Every day you wait, the fire consumes more of you. So what do? First, stop apologizing for your existence. You do not need permission to rise. You do not need approval to become stronger. The world is not handing out certificates for survival. Second, pick your battlefield. For some men, it is the gym. For some, it is the business. For some, it is the family, the marriage, the children. But pick something, and fight for it, with every ounce of blood in your body. Third, declare war on weakness. Weakness in your body. Weakness in your mind. Weakness in your spirit. Starve it. Crush it. Replace it with discipline. Replace it with power. Replace it with purpose. Fourth, stand for something greater than yourself. Because here is the paradox. Men who live only for themselves collapse. But men who tie themselves to something larger, family, legacy, brotherhood, purpose, those men become unbreakable. And finally, stop waiting for pity. It will not come, and you do not need it. You are not here to be pitied. You are here to be tested. And every test you face is not punishment. It is preparation. Think of it like this. Life is a forge. Every betrayal, every rejection, every burden is a hammer strike. Most men shatter under the blows. But you will harden. You will sharpen. You will become a weapon so fierce the world cannot look away. Then, here is what happens when men like you rise. You stop being invisible. You stop being replaceable. You stop being silent. You become the man others look to. When everything collapses, you become the man whose presence steadies the storm. You become the man history remembers, even if only in your own bloodline, your own family, your own community. Do not underestimate this. The world changes when one man refuses to bow. The world changes when one man carries the weight with fire instead of silence. The world changes when one man stops waiting to be saved and saves himself. That man can be you. No, hear me clearly, that man must be you. Because the alternative is death while living. And too many men are already corpses walking around. Their eyes dim, their backs bent, their voices gone. That cannot be you. So stand up. Straighten your back, feel the weight, and smile at it. Because from this moment on, you are no longer begging for lighter burdens. You are building stronger shoulders. From this moment on, you are no longer a victim of the fire. You are the fire. This is your time. This is your turn. Do not feel sorry for anyone, because no one felt sorry for you. Rise, burn, lead. So now you see it. The world will not pity you. It will not carry your burden. It will not save you. Good, because you do not need it to. Every betrayal, every rejection, every silence, it was never meant to kill you. It was meant to forge you, to turn you from victim into weapon, from forgotten man into force of nature. This is your time. Not to complain, not to wait, not to beg, to rise, to burn. 2, the world may never feel sorry for you, but one day it will remember you. So walk away from this video, not the same man who clicked play. Walk away sharper, harder, hungrier, because your fire starts now.